How's it going, YouTube? So today we're going to be looking at the Galaxy Nexus versus the Epic 4G Touch. This is the latest Google phone, and this is the Galaxy S2 that's currently on the Sprint network. So I had been using the Epic 4G Touch as my primary phone for the past couple of months. I recently switched over to Verizon and picked up the Galaxy Nexus, and I've been using this for the past couple of days. So this is something that's just for fun. Maybe some of you want to know what phone is better, what phone feels better, and whatnot. So since I have both of them here, I decided to make this video. So we're going to start with hardware. As far as hardware, the Galaxy Nexus feels a little heavier than the Epic 4G Touch. It's going to be a little thicker as well, not by a whole lot, but if you compare the two, if I could do this here, the Galaxy S2 is going to be a little bit thinner. That's in part due to the 4G radio that they put on the Galaxy Nexus. It is an LTE radio, so it's going to be a little tiny bit thicker. It's actually going to be a little bit thicker than the GSM version, but the Galaxy S2 has a very thin profile. The only thick part is going to be down here, and that's actually a lot more noticeable on this phone than it is on this phone. This phone just kind of carries a thick profile all around, and the hump, you really can't even tell that that it has that hump unless you're actually feeling it right here. But once you have the phone and you're actually holding it and using it, you really can't tell. So as far as what phone is thinner, the Epic 4G Touch is going to be a little bit thinner, but when I first picked up the Epic 4G Touch, I didn't like how thin and how light it was. It felt a little cheap, and I actually said that in my review and in my original unboxing. I myself don't like super light phones. I know some people do. It's just personal preference. So when I picked this phone up, the fact that it feels a little bit heavier and a little more solid actually works for me. I like the fact that this phone feels a little more professional. It feels like they use more high, quality premium material than they did on the Epic 4G Touch. They pretty much have the same backing, that pattern, that texture, except it feels a little more smoother on this one. It feels a lot more rough on this Epic 4G Touch. But go to the store and pick them up. I would say the Galaxy Nexus feels a little bit better than the Galaxy S2. As far as displays, the Galaxy Nexus has a pentile display, and it has a 720p resolution. Now, the Galaxy S2, the Epic 4G Touch, has a Super AMOLED Plus display, and it has a lower resolution. I believe it's 480 by 800. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's a lower resolution. Now, when you're actually using them, day to day, and you actually, pick up the phones, unless you're comparing them, you're not really going to be able to tell that it's noticeable, but it's not really that big of a deal. The average consumer, the average person, really isn't going to mind, because you get a lot more. The colors here on this phone are really rich. The blacks are very black, the blues, the reds, they look really, really good. My only problem was that the icons were huge, because due to that resolution, the icons and the text are just kind of blown out of proportion. Where if you pick up the Galaxy Nexus, everything is a little bit smaller, and it works a lot better on this resolution on this display. But as far as actually just day-to-day use, I would say they're both really good. The fact that this is a Super AMOLED Plus display is great. This one is a pentile display, so I don't really want to get too technical, but some whites do look a little funny on this display, whereas this phone, the colors look really, really good and saturated and just beautiful. So again, that's personal preference. I would say that you're going to be a little more feature proof with a 720p display than with a lower resolution. That's pretty much something of the past. So I would say the display is a lot better on this phone. Text is going to look a lot richer. YouTube looks insane on this phone, and that's not to say that it doesn't look great on this phone, but on this phone it HD because you do have that 720p display. So as far as displays, I would say the Galaxy Nexus is the clear winner here. Cameras, you have a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera that actually shoots in 720p, and I'm in the process of recording a video and actually uploading it to YouTube. It takes some pretty decent video. Pictures are kind of iffy, they're not great. And then you have a 5 megapixel camera in the back that actually shoots 720p and 1080p video. The video isn't great, the pictures aren't great. I was actually a little disappointed with that. I know that even though it was a 5 megapixel camera, I know that a lot of people say that it's not about the megapixels, it's about the quality of the sensor. Well, the sensor isn't great. Oh shit. The Galaxy S2 has an excellent camera. You can record 720p, 1080p, and you have an 8 megapixel camera. And the picture stills are a lot better on the Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. Samsung has really, really awesome sensors, and they've been getting a lot better as the years go by. So as far as cameras, I also forgot to mention that you have a 2 megapixel front-facing camera in the front. 2 full megapixels, and that actually takes some pretty cool video and some pretty good pictures. So I would say as far as cameras go, this the Epic 4G Touch is a clear winner. So we're gonna leave that there. Now for the next couple of minutes before my camera actually stops, because it stops at 10 minutes, I'm gonna talk about speed and overall performance on both phones. I would say the Galaxy S2 is by far the faster phone. That's because I believe it's because it's using the dual-core Exynos processor that Samsung actually optimizes the software for. With the Galaxy Nexus, you're using the Texas TI-OMAP processor, and I would say that the Exynos processor just kicks this processor in the ass. Just opening apps, which I'm going to show you right here, you're going to just be able to tell. So we're going to open up cameras. Ready to go on this one right away. Galaxy Nexus was just a few seconds late. We're going to open up calendars. Calendar 1, 2, 3. There you go. That was sort of a tie. Okay, we're going to open up YouTube. Alright. Now we're going to open up calculator. 1, 2, 3. You see, different things are just going to pop up a lot faster on the Epic 4G Touch. Now let's go to the browser here. We're going to go to Android Central. And we're going to go to Android Central here. Android Central. Let's see if we can do this on camera. Alright. I don't know how well that's going to actually come across. I'll try to do this without dropping the camera. So we're going to open up 2 articles. Okay. We're going to open up these 2 here. The Epic 4G Touch is pretty much, I said it from the very beginning when having a conversation with my brother. I was telling him that the Epic 4G Touch is like a super smartphone on steroids. It just loads everything a lot faster. It's like a workhorse. So if you're not really concerned about the software, you don't really mind being on gingerbread and using TouchWiz, I would say that the Epic 4G Touch is probably going to be the better phone at the moment, unless you're a Google purist and you're really looking for that stock, Google experience. Everything is just a lot smoother on the Epic 4G Touch. The panning and scrolling on pages, just buttery smooth. On the Galaxy Nexus, it's not to say that it's not as fast, but it's just going to be a little more choppier. And actually, I'm going to get into that when I do the full-on review. Right now, this is just a comparison. I would say at the moment, the Galaxy S2 is still going to be a better phone than the Galaxy Nexus. Now, like I said, if you're really looking for that stock Google experience and you want the latest and the greatest, you want ice cream sandwich, you want to be future-proof, the Galaxy Nexus is obviously going to be the better phone. But in terms of actual usage and regular mundane things that people do with their phone, I would say the Galaxy S2 is going to be that is going to be a better phone. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. I'm going to be comparing them with other phones. Cheers.